Zero Relativity by Peter Donald Rodgers. Yeah, I have written a paper named Zero Relativity. I'm very proud of it. It's a very difficult topic, and I think it's very radical maybe. It's advancing physics. I feel like I've done something wonderful. Took about 8,000 hours. My paper's named Zero Relativity because I believe that relativity shouldn't exist. Relativity is wrong. It's been based on incorrect ideas. Right from the start, Albert Einstein made incorrect decisions to base his relativity on, his special relativity, and therefore his general relativity is wrong also. I'm not anti-Einstein. Einstein's a wonderful guy in the past, and he's been an idol as I've grown up. I'm dyslexic like him. I admire what he's done. I've enjoyed his play with equations, because it is play, creating the physics papers, and he's done wonderful things. He inspired people. My paper, Zero Relativity, is a very unusual paper. It's really not like any other paper that's ever been written, because it's very comprehensive, mathematically comprehensive. Everything's laid out very well mathematically, and I've tried to explain the ideas as well as I can. I've had to improve my language usage to do it. I've written the paper because when I was a 6-year-old boy, my grandfather, Pop McShane, he told me that's what I should do in my life. He realised that I was a genius that had been assessed. I said, what do I do? He said, don't listen to teachers because they're always wrong. What you've got to do is prove that Einstein's wrong, because that's what I believe. What I am is that I've got a double major in mathematics. I like things like poetry and painting. I'm very creative, and also I'm a genius, and I like mathematics as well. I'm not an anti-physicist, but I haven't been very angry at physicists before. I'm disappointed by their inability to accept other ideas. They seem to have learnt off mathematics, and that's what they believe is true, because they're brainwashed to believe it's true. I get frustrated. Yes, a mathematician can understand physics to greater depth in some ways than the physicists do, because a lot of the physicists don't know enough mathematics to understand advanced papers like maybe general relativity. Yeah, I do think Albert Einstein is incorrect in relativity. He made two major mistakes right from the start. He said that the velocity of light was a constant. It's not true, it's a variable. That's why rainbows have different colours there, because the colours are going different speeds. Also, the other things. Yes, it's very possible that Albert Einstein is wrong. He's a blunderer, just like everybody else. He tried his best. Everybody tries their best. Albert Einstein was assessed as being wonderful for his physics papers, but the people at the time were not enlightened in some ideas, that's all. Stephen Hawking has agreed with Einstein, yes. He's based his ideas on Einstein being correct in relativity, but Stephen Hawking is not necessarily the greatest person to decide whether Einstein's papers are correct. He's just one of the people. There are lots of geniuses around the world, and Stephen Hawking is one of them. Well, black holes, I do not believe that Stephen Hawking's right about black holes. He's had some wonderful ideas about black holes, but because he's based his ideas on Einstein's equations being correct, Stephen Hawking, I believe, has made mistakes. It's not impossible for me to be correct about this. I can be correct about things. I've spent about 8,000 hours working on the ideas for my Zero Relativity. It's a lot of hard work I've put in, and I'm a very clever guy. I've done a lot. It's just been a huge effort, and 100 years of PhD and master students have been incorrect in their papers because they've based their papers on Albert Einstein's relativity equations being correct. If you base your equations on that, you're incorrect as well. 100 years of them incorrect, and that's a very, very strange thing for theoretical physics to accept. I can't do everything for physicists, so I've laid it out very well mathematically. It's up to the physicists to actually realise that I'm correct in my paper. I can't do everything for them. They have to use their own brains to decide. I don't know how capable they are, but some of them are capable of realising. Well, acceptance is easy if you just believe, but it's not a religious experience. It requires a lot of intelligence to understand the mathematics. And but once the mathematics is understood, it's actually laid out a lot better than the physics at present. It unites things. My physics should be correct because it will advance modern physics. It unites so many aspects of theoretical physics, quantum physics with relativity and all things about twin paradoxes and all sorts of things about wave equations and gravitation. Albert Einstein made physics much more simple with his E equals mc squared. The only problem was that it was incorrect. It's just a simple equation. Everyone can make up simple equations, but that does not mean they're correct. Albert Einstein's equation is correct for some situations, but it's not correct for all situations. Who cares what the normal people accept, really? Normal people accepting E equals mc squared does not mean that E equals mc squared is correct. Majority rules is not true in physics. What is true in physics is genius's rule, really. I can't accept E equals mc squared because it's definitely not true. There's a lot more to aspects of physics than that little bit there. It's just doesn't amount to as much as it should. It should be united with other things, and E equals mc squared is not the correct equation for that. Yeah, some people have actually believed me about my physics paper, but it takes a lot of intellectual effort. It's a paper where, for the mathematics, it probably takes extremely high IQs to understand it. People who are geniuses struggle with it, but they like it, but they don't know. I've always been a radical thinker. It's part of being very creative. I'm very creative. I love creating things. I'm not just a genius. I'm a creative person who's a genius. And I create in art and poetry and everything. I like creating. And I've done it in physics as well. Radical thoughts aren't always correct, but radical thoughts help people to rearrange what is true. So if you disallow radical thoughts, you only get mainstream nothingness, really. You don't advance. You have to have radical thoughts. That's what creates a greater science, really. Conventional wisdom is not the best. Conventional wisdom is something that a lot of people accept, and they feel proud of themselves because they're part of the majority. But it's not the best. It's just what they do. It's easy for them. It's a matter of just belief. Oh, I've told you what's great about my physics paper. It's 55 pages of effort has gone into it. It's that is a condensation of a huge amount of mathematics and things that's amalgamated to create something that is superb. It goes into all sorts of areas of physics, not just general relativity. Gravity is something that is very intriguing. It's hard to understand, but gravity for me is part of electromagnetism. I think there should be electromagnetic waves. That's what it is. It is difficult to understand what gravity is. It's different from what Einstein said. Einstein sees it as being a curve in space that affects things, but I see it as things affecting the curve in space. I think gravitational waves are electromagnetic waves. So they're actually part of the existing electromagnetic waves in a sense. They're electromagnetic waves. So what's happened is scientists or physicists have been looking for waves that do not really exist as separate from electromagnetic waves. I think that the government's been paying money for people to search for things that are not there. Yeah, the government's paid a fortune for people to search for these waves, and they are not there. They're just part of ordinary electromagnetic waves. It's a bit of a shocker, but it's funny in a sense, but it's very expensive for the governments, and I think that they should realise that they're looking for nothing. Well, this paper is actually a simplification. Really, the equations can be input into computers, and then everything can be worked out very easily once you input the data. But once these equations are in computer, they work brilliantly to simplify the universe, more than Einstein's E equals mc squared. Yeah, the Navier-Stokes equations are important because they come from these equations. It's amazing. They haven't been explained, or I don't think anyone's explained them. Someone's tried, but the Navier-Stokes equations actually come from these general equations. Yeah, entanglement is explained in it mathematically. Entanglement actually exists. I didn't expect entanglement to exist, but it's a sort of duality in position, and it mathematically has to occur. It's amazing. It's for other people to think about more, but I've explained that it is there. The equations are drastically changed from conventional physics equations, but they're really a simplification in senses. The normal physics equations have left out aspects. They've left out sort of symmetries that they should have within them. Maxwell's equations are wonderful equations, and they've provided a good network or framework for physics, but they're not the be-all and end-all. They can be improved, and I've improved those equations. Well, I see Maxwell's equations as being wonderful equations, not necessarily the greatest equations ever, but they are the basic network of equations from which other equations come from. So they're extremely important, but they've never been perfectly correct. General relativity was a great idea, and took a lot of brilliance on Einstein's part to create it, but it's just not true. It's sad, but it's not true. It could not fit in with other theories. Albert Einstein certainly put in a big effort to create general relativity, and an intellectual effort that is, I would say, has not been surpassed by many, but it's not a correct paper. It doesn't fit the structure of the universe properly. It has to fit in with quantum theories. Einstein did not direct physics to the correct path, and that's the problem. Everyone thought he did, and he got a lot of acclaim, but he made mistakes. A major mistake is that He believed in reversibility of events with time. The fact is, it's irreversibility of events with time. Oh, well, Einstein didn't really give us a fourth dimension. It had been, it came from equations from somebody else. But, yes, he gave us a fourth dimension, but so what? Do we think we're wonderful because we've got a fourth dimension? It doesn't matter whether we've got 3 dimensions or 4 dimensions. We are still us. We'd revert to a 3-dimensional universe because that is possibly correct. I believe it's correct. It's a strange sort of 3-dimensional universe, but I think that correctness is more important than having more dimensions. My dimensions do look very weird, and I'm not sure whether they should be called dimensions. There's something different to me, but all I can say now is dimensions, but somebody else might know a better word for them. It is very difficult for most people and physicists to believe that my papers are more correct than Albert Einstein's. But it's a matter of brainwashing. They've been brainwashed all their lives to believe that Albert Einstein was infallible. They shouldn't have believed that. I was told when I was 6 that he was wrong. I'm not sure if my paper is correct. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be quite a shock to the physics fraternity. It's going to mean a lot of changes. Lectures are wrong, books are wrong, everything's wrong and must be changed.
How does it change physics?
Well, physics it just have to be rewritten because all the relativity aspects of physics are wrong, and all the papers, huge number of papers over 100 years, including relativity in them, they're wrong. They need to be changed or something. Our physics textbooks will have to be changed very much. All the relativity aspects will have to be changed, and they need to be corrected. But, you remember that computers can have the programs to use these equations.
How does it help students?
Students, they'll be able to use programmed equations. So, and they'll see how it fits together a bit more. Once they actually sort of brainwashed, like we've been, to believe in it, they'll actually see that it all fits together better than in the past. Well, there'll be lots of change. It'll help in engineering, possibly in architecture a bit. All the mathematical areas for professionals, it will change. It might change equations for lasers and things. It'll change equations used in lots of aspects of physics. And Zero Relativity is a wonderful paper that has revolutionised physics. It's something theoretical physicists will accept fairly soon, and it'll be wonderful when that happens. It'll just make things easier with computers doing it.
I don't know.
Yes, you can believe in zero relativity. Everybody can believe in zero relativity. It's just a matter of time, and then the geniuses will realise that zero relativity is correct, and then they'll accept it after a while. It's a bit painful for theoretical physicists because it means that their PhD or master's papers were incorrect. So it takes effort, but people will believe in zero relativity. Thank you. I'm Peter